Simon just got home from a tough week at work on a cold Friday night and is struggling with a feeling that won't go away. An angry voice inside him tells him that this can't be all there is to life. A person with more hope tells him that the only way out of this rut is to make his own way. It says that the real change starts with you. It's a simple but important discovery. Simon thinks about this contrast between hopelessness and dread and decides not to give in to the latter. He instead thinks about the idea of starting over. How was that possible? The answer wasn't clear at first, but Simon feels hopeful when he thinks of his friend Frank, whose life had changed drastically for the better after studying a philosophy he talked about a lot. This philosophy was called Stoicism. Simon is eager to learn more, even though he is very tired. As he lies awake, his last thoughts before going to sleep are strong. He asks himself, if Frank could change his life by being tough, why couldn't I? If you've ever felt like Simon did, stuck in a loop of routine, this is your chance to learn how Stoicism can help you. In what parts of your life would becoming more calm help you? Through this video, we'll show you how to use Stoicism to reinvent yourself right now and change your life from the inside out. Stay tuned for a trip that will help you regain your strength and wisdom. Now is the time to plan a new path for yourself. Check out these steps. Number 1. Start easy. With your heart racing, you look deeply into your own eyes in the mirror, able to see more than just your image. But in this private moment of looking at yourself, you're filled with a strong desire to change. Stoics wrote something very wise that you should remember. You can reinvent yourself, and it starts with the smallest steps. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno, once said, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but it is no small thing." If you want to change who you are, don't be scared of how big the change will be. Imagine starting from scratch to build a huge temple. Think about how carefully you would place each brick and beam. That's the way change works. It's not a quick job. It takes a lot of careful work to put together. The big picture of who you will become is shaped by these small changes that you make over time. Big changes aren't what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is a number of small, deliberate steps that add up to big changes over time. The image of a falling domino building up to a big peak. James Clear made the idea of atomic habits more well known. Remember that an atom is the smallest measure, but it has a huge amount of power. In the same way, our smallest habits are often the key to making big changes in our lives. Start small if you want to be more understanding. Give someone a genuine smile, pay attention when they talk, or offer to help them without asking anything in return. You wouldn't believe it, but every little thing you do leads to big changes. But here's the Stoic twist. Don't get distracted by big goals or dreams that you can't reach. Instead, pay attention to the immediate job that you can complete. Say what you think about one small thing every day if you want to be more aggressive today. Let this confidence grow even stronger. All of these small wins should work together to help you become a different person. Dream big, but start small, because real change begins with small things that don't seem important. To make changes that last longer and have more of an effect, it asks you to take small steps toward the top. Number 2. Don't let your worry control you anymore. He felt drawn to Marcus Aurelius's personal journal, Meditations, on a stormy night. Meditations is a book that introduces you to Stoicism, a philosophy that is just as important today as it was in ancient Rome. A quote stuck out to him like a bolt of lightning. "Today I escaped anxiety, or rather I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, and not outside." This was a turning point in Simon's journey to reinvent himself. It showed him that the battle wasn't with the world, but with how he saw it. For this trip, you need to change more than just what you do. You also need to change how you see things. Your goals set the course of your life. If you see life as a bunch of impossible problems, that's all you'll ever face. View it as a place where many things can happen, though, and the game changes. He noticed that a lot of the time, people like him hold on to their worries like a comforting blanket. Not because it's nice, but because it's all they know. We have to face the cold when we throw away this blanket. But that's the only way we can learn to start our own fire. Remaking yourself is like sailing across a sea you haven't been on before. To find new possibilities, you have to be ready to lose sight of the shore. When you can no longer see land, it's normal to feel scared. But remember that the ocean is the same whether you're on the beach or deep in the water. Marcus Aurelius shows us that we shouldn't be afraid of the water, but of our ability to get through it. To change himself, Simon learned, he didn't have to change into someone else. He just had to take charge of his own thoughts. If you find yourself at a crossroads of change, know this: how you see things is what makes reinvention possible. It does not tell you to forget who you were. Instead, it asks you to shape who you are becoming. Find your meditations and listen to the Stoic wisdom that says, power lies not in external events, but in your reactions to them. This should help you figure out how to reinvent yourself. The only things that are stopping you are the ones you put on yourself. Set yourself free and find out how much you can do. Number 3, make a plan. With the passing of time, we often find ourselves at a crossroads, thinking about how to remake ourselves. It's a deep journey that changes more than just the outside. It changes who we are on the inside as well. To make this change, you need more than just a fleeting wish. You need a foundation as strong as bedrock. Life without a design is erratic, Seneca once said. Embedding this knowledge into the fabric of our daily lives is the only way to make real change. Think of your life as a big, unknown land. Every step you take without a plan is a step into the unknown, which could take you away from where you want to go. Now think about how powerful a compass is for leading you through this terrain. This compass is a well-thought-out practice that makes sure every step brings you closer to the person you want to become. You don't have to stick to a strict schedule. Instead, you can plan your days around activities that feed your soul, test your mind, and make you stronger so that you can start this journey of reinvention. First, figure out when you feel most alive and when you can be most creative and focused. At these busy times, do things that show who you want to be on the inside. You should set aside time to read and think if you want to become more wise. If getting healthy is your goal, make exercise a part of your daily schedule. The important thing is to make sure that your actions match your goals and to use each day as a step toward becoming a new person. But here's the most important thing: being consistent. Even the strongest rivers start out as small streams. Each mile they flow, they get stronger. In the same way, your habit has a bigger effect when you stick with it. Accept this system, but leave room for it to grow and change. At the end of the day, change is a process, not a goal. As you go on your journey, make sure you have habits that not only help you be productive, but also promote balance and well-being. This will turn your erratic behavior into eloquent speech and help you navigate your life with the help of deliberate action. Number 4, tell yourself to stop. When you're deep in thought, have you ever thought about the road you didn't take or the part of yourself you haven't explored yet? If you're brave enough to listen, stories of people who changed their lives for the better aren't just for legends or stories about heroes from the past. Think about Dwight D. Eisenhower, who knew that his 4-pack-a-day smoking habit was bad for him and told himself to stop. It wasn't just about giving up smoking, it was a deep act of taking control of his life. Not only did he get rid of a bad habit, but he also found a deeper strength within himself. We all have that power. It only takes one step to start over. Telling yourself to stop settling, to stop questioning, and to stop being a passenger in your own life. You have to look at the parts of yourself that you've let run your life, like fear, complacency, or the safety of the known, and decide that today you will take a different road. This is what Stoicism is all about, taking back your power by being in charge of your choices. Someone wise once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You are the only one who can lock your chains. Now think of the one thing that holds you back from becoming the person you want to be. It could be a job that doesn't make you happy, a relationship that doesn't make you feel good, or a habit that doesn't help you. See them for what they are, old places on a map that you no longer need. Calling yourself to reinvent yourself isn't an easy trip. You have to be brave enough to give yourself a new order that doesn't just question the status quo, but aims to go beyond it. This isn't about small changes over time. It's about taking a big step toward becoming the person you were meant to be. When you find yourself at a crossroads and are ready to start over, remember this: you are the creator of your own fate. Choosing a new path is a simple but powerful thing you can do to change your life. You realize that your past doesn't have to shape your future if you don't want it to. As we look ahead to tomorrow, let's make Stoicism more than just a theory. Let it be a call to action as well. Let's not just believe in the person we can become. Let's do what it takes to become that person. Number 5, give up valuable things. With the passage of time, we often reach a turning point where we question who we are and what we want to become. On this path of self-reinvention, we're not just changing what we do, we're also rethinking how we spend our most valuable resources, like time and attention. Stoicism, a philosophy that has been around for over 2,000 years, can help you find your way along this road. Epictetus, one of the smartest Stoics, said, "If you want to get better, be willing to look clueless or stupid in exchange for growth." This simple advice shows a deeper truth about how people act. We tend to hold on to what's familiar, even if it stops us from growing. It's easy for us to scroll through our phones, watch a lot of TV shows at once, and get lost in the noise of the world. However, what if we chose to spend our time on things that would help us become the people we want to be? People don't need to avoid technology or social interaction. Instead, they need to be very aware of where their mind goes. Start by writing down what you do each day. Watch how many hours you waste on things that don't push you or help you reach your goals. Being aware is the first step. Taking action is the second and more difficult step. Put learning ahead of fun, making things ahead of buying them, and stimulating talks ahead of gossip that drains. Now that you know what the Stoics said, as you start your journey of reinvention, remember that every choice you make to spend your time on something important is a step toward your change. Not big changes that happen all at once, but small choices that you make every day that shape you into the person you want to be. To celebrate how much time has passed, let's not count the days but make them matter. So, the art of reinvention isn't just about changing yourself, it's also about freeing yourself to live a life that is in line with your deepest hopes and ideals. Number 6, do something hard. Seneca, a famous Stoic, didn't just make goals to start the new year. He also took a risky dip in the cold Tiber. He was more than just taking a dip. He was in charge. It wasn't about fighting the cold. It was about sparking a fierce drive inside him, which made it clear that he was in charge of his spirit. It's not just about proving something to other people when you take on tough tasks. It's also about proving something to yourself. Imagine that you are trying to reinvent yourself. You can't just change your skin. You have to change your heart and make it stronger and more resilient. It's like getting a house fixed up from the inside out. It's not as simple as painting the outside or putting flowers in the front yard. It means tearing down walls that keep you in, removing parts that don't work, and starting over from scratch. Sure, it's hard, But every time the hammer hits the nail, it's a statement. I am the master of my own fate. How does this fit into your life? Start with one difficult job that makes you feel bad. It could be facing your fears, making a promise to get in shape, or starting to write a book. What you choose doesn't matter. What matters is that you step into the field, knowing it won't be easy, but you do it anyway. Not only are you surviving these problems, you're growing and shaping yourself into the person you want to be. Being yourself again isn't easy, let's be clear there. Facing the unknown takes guts, and you have to be strong to keep going, even when your whole body wants to give up. But here's the truth. The most satisfying accomplishments aren't at the end of a simple road. There are peak mountains that beg to be climbed, so let Seneca's cold plunge serve as an example. Pick your river, face the cold, and come out the other side not just a new person, but a better person. Remember that we find our true power when we do the hard things. Number 7, hang out with people who make you better. Choosing the people you will spend time with in life is a lot like picking your team for a game where the goal is to get smarter and grow as a person. Seneca was a wise man from the time of the Stoics. His timeless letters teach us to hang out with people who will make us better men. Having friends isn't enough. You need to make sure that the people in your group share the qualities you value and want to achieve. Think of each contact as a brick that helps build who you are becoming. The base will be bad if the bricks are bad. Pay close attention to the people you hang out with. Do these people make you feel better or worse? Are they the kind of friends who push you to grow and help you reach your goals? It's important to spend time with people who make you feel better, not just things to do. The point isn't to find the right partner, but to find people who make your life better in important ways. You need to make a group that pushes you to do better and not settle for less. Accepting this journey can give you strength. Every day, think about what you give your mind and heart. Are you talking to people in ways that challenge your mind and feed your soul? It's about putting together your own group of modern-day Stoics, people who will push you to think, question, and grow. Like Seneca said, we learn when we teach. We not only reach new heights, but also change what our limits are when we work with people whose ideas push them. You might get ideas from Simon's story here. He learned how to deal with rejection and bad things after watching hours of videos on the Stoic community, which was his favorite Stoicism site. That night, something clicked for Simon. The Stoic advice he had learned made him feel driven and interested. That night, Simon had a dream that he was having a conversation about the important things in life with Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. As soon as his alarm went off, it was strange to hear him talking about virtues and perseverance. Before we move on to number 8 on our list, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us a lot and costs you nothing. Never miss out on any of our videos about Stoicism and the way you can master your life. Number 8. Don't be afraid of change. When we're really down, it can feel like change is an impossible peak that we can't climb. We often want to avoid it at all costs, but here's the truth. The only thing that stays the same is change, and being afraid of it keeps us from reaching our full potential. An ancient philosopher named Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This wise saying from long ago can help us see change not as something bad, but as a chance to start over. Let's face it for a second. We become a new person every time we make a choice or step out of our comfort zone. To reinvent yourself, you don't have to change who you are at your core. Instead, you have to shed the layers that don't serve you anymore, like a snake does to grow. You have to look change straight in the eye and see it for what it is, a chance to grow, learn, and become the best version of yourself. How do you begin this journey? First, learn to live with the unknown. It's part of the excitement to not know what's going to happen next. You can discover new worlds with every book you haven't read yet. Change is the key to getting to these unknown areas. Always remember that each day is a new chance to write a new story in your life. Being eager to learn more about yourself and the world around you is what it means. Be fluid, persistent, and most of all, true to yourself. Think of yourself as a river that makes its own way through the land. Finally, don't forget to carry a compass of strength. The path to changing yourself will be filled with winds of doubt and storms of fear, but in your heart, know that you can get through them. It takes work to become strong, but every challenge and hurdle you overcome makes you stronger and more ready to face the world with wisdom and courage. Number 9. Say no to things that aren't necessary. Marcus Aurelius, the smart emperor who knew how to run a kingdom, was right when he said that saying no to things that aren't necessary is very important. This knowledge is very important for people who want to change themselves. Think of your life as a work in progress. In order to change, to truly shift, you must first empty the canvas. This means getting rid of the old, the things that are distracting you, and the things that aren't helping you reach your goals anymore. On this road of reinvention, we need to think carefully about what we think is important. It's easy to get caught up in the hurry and think that being busy is a sign of honor, but doing what's right is what will help you become your best self. To do this, you may need to take a step back, look at your current obligations, and ask yourself, do these things help me change? If not, it may be time to let them go. Let's not say yes to everything and end up being too busy. Instead, let's say yes to things that give our lives meaning, help us grow, and fill our hearts. Questioning everything we do with, is this necessary, can help us find new ways to do things, just like Marcus Aurelius did. It's not about not having enough. It's about making room for the new, the important, and the life-changing. So be brave and say no to the mess. By doing so, you'll be saying yes to your own story of growth and change. Number 10. Get back to work. Simon had been in a slump for a week. He wasn't as motivated to do self-care activities like writing in a notebook, meditating, or going to the gym. He thought about whether the great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus would be upset with him. He felt better after reading a quote from Aurelius's Meditations that said, "It's never too late to return to one's rhythm." Picture Simon, or better yet, let yourself be him. Of course, everyone has times when they lose track of the habits and routines that keep them grounded. Then it's easy to wallow and let our sadness keep us from doing anything. But the Stoic advice that has been passed down through the years tells us about a different way, one that involves being strong and forgiving ourselves. The idea of reinventing yourself is both scary and exciting. But the first step is not to change, but to return to what you know to be true. Getting back up and looking ahead are important. You don't need big acts. What you need are consistent small ones that bring you back in line with your Stoic beliefs. Picture getting back home after getting lost. Finally, keep in mind that reinvention is neither a race nor an endpoint. It's a journey of many returns to oneself, an art form that involves learning how to bounce back with ease. Join us on this trip if Simon's story speaks to you, and if you want to not only reinvent yourself, but also become a successful Stoic. Click here to watch 9 people that don't deserve your trust and respect according to Stoicism. See you there in a second. Be Stoic, stay Stoic.